your perspective in the whole chiropractic field, uh, would you advise people to not sleep on their belly? Because when you're on your belly, you're turning your head and your spinal cord's basically twisted all night.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of belly sleeping. Ideal sleeping is going to be straight on your back with a nice, good cervical support. That's going to be the most helpful because then that kind of maintains your cervical curve the whole time. If not, what happens when you go flat, that curve has to flatten out, and then that can create more disc pressure on the neck. So what happens when you go into flexion, you start to have the disc start pushes back towards the posterior nerve root. And so
Explain that to people briefly, because people, when they get lectured on posture, they think that you're supposed to just be straight up and down like a stick. And that's not actually how the cervical spine works, right?
yeah. So imagine, so people that are listening, I'm going to do my best to describe it. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the YouTube link. I'll be giving you an analogy physically. So imagine my green celery juice here. Imagine that's like a big bar of soap, right? So if I'm holding that bar of soap like this and I gently cup my top hand on top of it and I have equal pressure like this and I'm pressing down, I'm going to have good support of that bar of soap. Pretend it's a bar of soap. Now, if I start to wedge it and push more here at the front of that bar of soap, that's going to start to squeeze it out to one side. So the bar of soap analogy, this is like the disc in between the two vertebrae. Okay. And so there's a natural cervical curve that's there. Our spine is not set up to be straight. So when you go lay flat, you're actually putting, even though your neck looks straight, you're actually starting to put your neck into flexion. You're starting to move your head forward a little bit, which then is the equivalent of taking this bar of soap here and we're starting to push it from the front, and that's squirting that disc out, and it can start to irritate the nerve roots. And then when those nerve roots get irritated, you get inflammation. That can shut down some of the deep cervical flexor stabilization, the scalenes, the SCM, the trapezius muscles. A lot of times the muscles in the back get tight, and then we don't have good stabilizers of that neck. And then we have a lot of pain and inflammation, and you can develop adhesions. So just having poor posture at night with not enough good support, that can create a lot of disc inflammation and a lot of muscle pain. When those muscles aren't working properly, it's like having your natural shock absorbers turned off. It's like going into your car and then all the suspension and the shocks are gone. So every little bump, you totally feel it.
Yep. And when I was working out of a chiropractor's office, I was looking at x-rays all the time. And this is not a rare problem. I would say 98% of people we looked at, they basically had lost that cervical shape. I mean, their neck was basically just straight. They had no curvature. So a lot of the work we were trying to do was, which it had limited success because the people were not doing diet changes and other things. They were just going into a traction device or something else to try to restore that curvature. And maybe it worked 50-50. I think it was not a root cause clinic that I was working out of. So I think we missed the boat on a lot of things.
100%.